ராமானுஜதயாபாத்திரம் ஞானவைராக்யபூஷணம் ஸ்ரீமத்வேங்கடநாதார்யம் வந்தே வேதாந்ததேசிகம் லக்ஷ்மீநாதசமாரம்பாம் நாதயாமுனமध्यமாம் அஸ்மதாச்சாரியபர்யந்தாம் வந்தே குருபரம்பராம் யோ நித்யமच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये माता पिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य नः कुलपतेर्वकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्ध्ना भूतं सरश्च महदाह्वयभट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसार कुलशेखरयोगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्घ्रिरेणु परकाल यतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यं नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत् व्यासं वसिष्ठनप्तारं शक्तेः पौत्रम् अकल्मषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे शुकतातं तपोनिधिं व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः अचतुर्वदनोर्ब्रह्म द्विबाहुरपरो हरिः अफाललोचनः शम्भुः भगवान् बादरायणः पाराशर्यवचःसुधां सुमनसः दुग्धाब्धिमध्योद्धृतां संसाराग्निविदीपनव्यपगतप्राणात्मसञ्जीवनीं पूर्वाचार्यसुरक्षितां बहुमतिं व्याघातदूरस्थिताम् आनीतां तु निजाक्षरै सुमनसः भौमाः पिबन्त्वन्वहम् निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखातमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवत रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिकाः भुवि भावुकाः. He lifted the mountain. This is where Bhagavatam stops. But Harivamsham and Alvar's Pasuram says something, one more thing unique. He inverted the mountain. Sir, if he inverts the mountain, what is the reason? Then only the sheltered cows and calves will get grass. So he inverted the hill and stood. As he stood, the rays emanating from the gems of his fingers, rings, were like spokes to the umbrella. He held the hill like this for 7 days. Yashoda is feeding him. Tarada. Yen kolandaye malaya thooka un pillaya thooka solla. Why should my son alone lift the mountain? Call your son to lift the mountain. Some of the men went around Nandagopa. Nandagopa? Idu un pilladana. You perform not even a single act that is praiseworthy. This boy is lifting that mountain. Even Nandagopa had a doubt. But he had to somehow manage that situation. You don't know how many hills I have lifted in my childhood. You are unaware. They managed 7 days. Now, the clouds had lost their water content. There was nothing more for it to precipitate. The dark rain-bearing clouds, which were filled with water that had showered incessantly, copiously for 7 days, were bereft of water. They turned white and they started moving. The rays of sun started creeping between the clouds. It was all good, like a sunny afternoon, like how it was yesterday. Maybe like tomorrow, we don't know. So, Krishna now inverted the hill and kept it at the same place. Something, management skill, we need to learn from him. Keep an object from the same place where you have taken. Some people won't have that habit. They'll leave it elsewhere. Kannadi inga eduthu vechalo. So, Krishna left that hill and the Gopas went back home to check what all damage this has caused, whether to claim from insurance that money or not. Well, they all left. Krishna was sitting and he was playing the flute. Indra was the one who has caused this collateral damage. Now he realized his folly. After so much of damage, only such people will realize. So then he comes. He has to check where Krishna is. That is when Vishnu Purana states. He found Garuda flying atop where Krishna was. Melappinkel varuvanai vrindavanatte kandome vinadai siruvan siragu ennum melappinkel varuvanai. So then he went and surrendered to Krishna. I have committed a grave mistake. I should not have done this. Normal, that leave letter explanation letter, memo explanation. I should have not done this. I completely realize what mistake I've done. I shall ensure with all sincerity that this is not repeated so that it benefits the organization in the future. Yours sincerely, K. Indra, Kashyapa's son, right? K. Indra. Now the greatness about Krishna Avataram is you'll have to compare it vis-a-vis Rama Avataram. In Rama Avataram, at the commencement, Indra as a leader, team leader, he went and said, lot of problems, please ensure there is dharmam. The Lord said, don't worry, Siddhagandharva yakshascha tataswam shranam gataha. I shall be born as D. Ram and I shall bring some dharmam to the world. Towards the end of Ramavataram, when after so much of battle and bloodshed in the land of Lanka, when he reached Ayodhya, every person attended Rama Pattabhishekam except the person who had asked the Lord to incarnate, who was Indra. So everyone minus Indra. In set theory, it is A complement, right? So in the universal set, if there is set A complement is this, Indra. So the Lord thought, I need to teach him a lesson. That is why in Rama Avataram, everybody but Indra attended. In Krishna Avataram, for Govinda Pattabhishekam, no one but Indra attended. Indra came. He called Surabhi, Kamadhenu, Avin, Amul, and then they showered milk. Govardhana Giridhara Govinda Gokula Palaka Paramananda Govardhana Giridhara Padida Sura Ripu Padapa Brunda Pavana Charita Paramruta Kanda Natya Rasos Gadanana Bharana Narayana Tirtharchita Charana Govardhana Padapa Brinda. What is Padapa? Padapa? Who said? Very good. Padapa means tree. Vriksha is a common word. Padapa means tree. Padena pibati iti padapa. The one that drinks water through its feet, which is roots, is called padapa. That is why Vedanta Deshika comes up with the verse Padapa, 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 Padapa. What is this, sir? It is like little we used to do. What is this? This is a beautiful verse for which there is a Padapa, Adapa, Dapa, Dapa, Apa, Pa, Pa, Apa, Dapa, Dapa. So he has created a beautiful alliteration using Sanskritam. Ya, 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 ya. This is all poetry at a very different level. Now, Indra did that Pattabhishekam. Vishnu Puranam, Bhagavatam doesn't state. Vishnu Puranam states, Indra now said, sir, please forgive me. I have forgiven. यदि आप मुझे माफ किए हैं तो एक बर उसके साथ दीजिए. क्या बर चाहिए तुम्हें? मेरा अंश जन्मा है अर्जुन, एक्शन किंग, उसका मदद कीजिए. So my manifestation as Arjuna, you should always be his legal advisor. He said, okay. Now, after Govardhana episode, Krishna wanted, see in Ramavataram, Shastram says in Sanātana Dharma, you can reach Lord through pristine music. It is called Nadopasana. Nadaloludai Brahmanandamandame. You can reach Lord through music, but Rama was very shy. He will not even sing. When somebody says sing, no, I'm out of practice. My voice isn't that great. It's just got course after Omicron. Somehow I can't get my voice back. And he never used to sing. But he later felt when people ask you to sing, you should sing. You need lot of confidence to sing in the public. Even if your singing is not great. So here, Rama wanted to get this mitigated. Somehow he wanted to get this compensated in the next avatar. When he went to the music teacher, Krishna, first Sari, Gama, all that he sang. After Melsthayi Varisai and Alankaram, the teacher said, you better shift to instrument. Voice konja sumar. Voice is okay. Shift to some instrument. So he immediately went to Shashank, Ramani, Molly, took that flute. He broke the bamboo. Vamsha is bamboo. Many people in Andhra Desham and Telangana will have the name Vamshi, because there is a huge impact of a composer called Kshetraya who gave padams and javalis in Telugu language. That is full of Shringara Rasam towards Krishna. Muvva Gopala ani oka Muvva ante oka gramam. A gramamlo prasiddhamaina devudu variki peru Krishna, Muvva Krishna. So all his compositions are on Muvva Krishna. So the land is influenced by Krishna. So there will be Vamshi Krishna, Vamshi. This name will be there. Adharahita Charu Vamshanala. So Krishna he put some holes and then he blew. What will you get? It is used for fire also. In fireplace they will use Udangudal, it is called. You have to keep blowing. Krishna used the technique of partial closing, full closing of the holes. People were amazed how music could come out of a single piece of bamboo. Yadavaraya Vrindavanadolu Venunadava Madutire Radha Muntada Gopiyarella Madhusudana Nimmanu Sevisutire. So this music was so beautiful. Those of you, of course, this is in the Kannada language. Kasturi Kannada anta heluttare. Kasturi Kannada. Telugu ante teta. Kada? Telugu varu Tamilno cheppunappudu aravadu anta cheptaru. This is a beautiful language. But in Tamil, Uttrakad Kavi tells how beautiful is Krishna's Venuganam. You should relish his Venuganam and the Tamil here. Those of you who can understand Tamil, who can speak Tamil, who can relish Tamil may understand. Arivenum nandavana malarunda mamalare manamuhanda narumaname manamalaindu magarandam tarai naadi varum pannuhanda karuvandenum teengulale kulalishaye araveri nadamaadum arase ennuyire un pugal ettanai kettalum போதும் என்பதே இல்லை நீப்படி ஆச்சே இன்னிசையுடன் குழலூதி கோபியரோடு உறவாடும் தன்னிகரில்லாத ராஜ கோபால சுவாமிக்கு உன் புகழ் எத்தனை. Look at the words. அறிவெனும் நந்தவன மலர்ந்த மாமலரே மணமுகந்த நறுமணமே மனமலைந்து மகரந்தம் தனை நாடி வரும் பண்ணுகந்த கருவண்டெனும் திங்குழலே குழலிசையே குழலேடி அறவேறி நடமாடும் அரசே என்னுயிரே உன் புகழ் எத்தனை கேட்டாலும். Venuganam was so beautiful. Now, as Krishna was playing Venuganam, one day, it was an autumnal night. He said he will do that Anubhavam on autumnal night around 8 p.m. Mama is having chapati. That dal is there in that ladle, that stick. That mommy has to pour. She isn't pouring because the Venuganam has started coming. She's mesmerized. He's saying dal, dal. She is mesmerized. He has to have only the chapati. The other lady left her home. Like this, not 1, not 10, not 50, not 100, not 500, not 1,000. 5 lakh women folk, says Bhagavatam. 5 laksham koodi pengal. They all left. Now you may wonder, sir, melodious music can attract men. Those men were bereft of. See, music is something that you can never teach the other person. How to appreciate music. Appreciation of Shastriya Sangeetam should come naturally. See, if you take a person who doesn't know the nuances of music, not appreciates music, you take them to a concert. என்னமா கல்யாணிய பிடிக்கிறார் பாருங்க. பா என்ன பிடிச்சார் இப்போ? அப்படியே கல்யாணிலேருந்து ஒரு அப்படியே கிரகபேதம் பண்ணி யமனுக்குள்ள போயிட்டு வந்துட்டார். அதுக்குள்ள now people who do not know the nuances will be waiting when to clap. Gari sani dari sani da bagama padani gari sani da gari sani da ni ri sani da badara gama padani ni dichala. Clap there because he has finished that swara prastaram. அவ்வளோதான். கிளாப் எல்லாரும் கிளாப் பண்ணால் நம்மளும் பண்ணிடு. ஆனால் அவருக்கு எப்போ நிறுத்துறதுன்னு தெரியாது. So those men didn't understand the nuances of music. Krishna would play, they all went. It was around 9 p.m. Below the shade of a tree, Krishna was standing. Even his pose is described by Leela Shuka and Krishna Karnamritam. How he used to bend on one side. Tribhangam, it is called in Natya Shastra. When you stand also, be the man or the woman, let's pose for the camera. Stare jahan se acha. Jai Hind, abdi nikapradhu. So, one foot should be slanted, that knee should bend on one side, and your shoulder should tilt. 3 places. It is called Tribhangam. That's how you should stand. That's how if you look at the Rama of Vaduvur or Krishna of Mannargudi, they will be bent like that. And they can do it effortlessly. Namma mama mudichundu spondylitis undrum. Nammathu mama ella panni ipdi nikku. So Krishna used to stand with the flute and used to play. Looking at Krishna's beauty, the way he stood, his posture, his demeanor, that glamour, there was a quotient with him, that style quotient. The women, they all stood, gazed. They were gaping at him. That's when Krishna said, if you come in this haphazard manner, how will I be able to give you that anubhavam? Come as concentric circles. They immediately formed circles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's take a minimum gap of existence for the oxygen to flow. You see how many concentric circles would have existed from the drone camera point of view, how it would have looked. Now the central Krishna said, can you hear me? Hear me, hear me, hear me. Last lady, yes, 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 yes. Now leave a gap, not that brand. Give a gap between the two. So there was a gap, there was Krishna, there was a gap, there was this lady, gap, lady, gap. Close your eyes, they closed. Open your eyes, opened. There were Krishna on either sides. Anganam, Anganam, Antare, Madhavaha. Madhavam, Madhavam cha Antare, Nangana. Ithama kalpite mandale madhyagaha. Sanjagau Venuna Devaki Nandanaha. So they held their hands together. And the central Krishna was the percussionist. So he was playing to the flute. And that melodious music was enough for them to dance. This scene was reimagined by Bhattatri in Guruvayur and wondered how could such a little boy manage so judiciously, so gracefully this kind of a huge crowd. The Lord enacted Rasa Krida in Guruvayur. As he danced, so he wrote. Keshapashadhrita pinchika vidasi sanchalan makara kundalam harajalavana malika lalitam angaragagana saurabham pītachela dhrita kanchi kanchita mudangajam shumani nupuram rasakeli paribhushitam tavahi rupamisha kalayamahe. One lady, she was about 55. She had vertigo problem. She fainted. As she swooned, she lay on the chest and the shoulders of Krishna. The other Krishna, there were too many Krishnas there. So one Krishna went and got some bovanto, sprinkled on the face of this lady. This lady gained consciousness, but she didn't want to give away the opportunity of reclining and resting on the shoulders of Krishna. So she acted as if she was still unconscious. Bhattadri says, he may not know, but I know. Svinna sannatanu vallari tadanu kapinama pashupangana sandramam samavalambate smadhrita kanti bharamukulekshana Kachida chalita kuntala navapatira saragana saurabham vanchanena tava sanchuchumba bhuja manchito rupula kangura. Now, what is the message that Rasa Krida conveys? Dance adnar, sir. What does a dance mean? I spoke about Dharmi Jnanam, Dharma Bhuta Jnanam, remember, on day 3 at about 8 o'clock. After Nisimhavataram, I spoke about Dharmi Jnanam, Dharma Bhuta Jnanam, Mysore Pak, the sugar over it, you remember? Then I spoke about that which is a substratum to Dharma Bhuta Jnanam is called Chetana. That which isn't is Achetana. Correct? Okay. Now we are a combination of both. The Jivatma inside us is Chetana. The body is Achetana. Why is the body Achetana? The body may seem Chetana for us because we say heart is breathing, liver is secreting bile. All this we may say because of the presence of Jivatma. If the Jivatma goes out, even if I loved my grandmother the most, I can't keep her body. Nobody will keep. The body loses its respect the moment Jivatma goes. Till the Jivatma is there, avar varar, shoulder pandar. Once that avar goes out, ida yeruchudu, ide. So mama's body, even if you do with L'Oreal, Yardley, no use. This has to get burnt. It will come like cookies outside. Powder. Now they'll give it instantly also. I don't know how it works here in Bharata Desham. Instant, they'll send in box it down a party. So this body shariram is prakritika shariram, made up of the 5 elements. Jivatma is chaitanyam. That Jivatma leaves the body. Now our body has achetanam and chetanam. Likewise, all your bodies has achetanam and chetanam. The world is filled with chetana and achetana. Now let's come to our body. Suppose what is that festival? Pushnika Halloween. Pumpkin festival and Halloween. So, in that Halloween festival, let's say I put all these teeth and I'm trying to scare. You don't have to. So I put all this and scare some person. So I put all this on my face. There is a foundation and then I put all this on my skin. Let's call it one kind of a dosham. I'm not saying that is Halloween is dosham. I'm talking about these extra gadgets and accessories. Will this tamper our Jivatma? Think about it well. You're all Vedanta students. No, correct? How it won't affect the Jivatma, for which my Acharya used to give an example. Let's come to Tirunelveli Halwa. Have you heard of Tirunelveli? Have you heard of Halwa? Any Tirunelveli Astikas here? Now this Tirunelveli Halwa is a glorified form of wheat halwa. So you have to caramelize sugar, then take the milk out of ground soaked wheat and then add loads of ghee till it shines like tamadbhutam balakam. You have to make it into a paste. It has the lubricant called ghee and it has got sugar to make it sticky. Now you give it to your child. The child isn't used to consuming wheat halwa. So the child will make a complete pralayaranavam out of that place. Some halwa his feet would have consumed, some his dress, some his neck, some his face. Correct? So then you will take the child to the powder room, then give him some hand wash, clean all the places because it's very sticky and greasy. But what has consumed the halwa? Mouth. Every other place seems sticky and greasy, you clean it out. You clean every other place. Then the child says, give me some. Why? To clean my tongue. Will you need the thing to clean your tongue? See, the greasiness and the stickiness of halwa sticks throughout your body except the tongue. But the tongue is the one that has actually consumed and tasted it, but it doesn't need wash. Similarly, with many impurities around us, mentally, physically, verbally to the body experiences, the Jivatma doesn't, like the tongue. Now we have this Jivatma that doesn't experience. There are so many Jivatmas. All these Chetana Jivatmas and Achetana Vastus are the Lord's body. Idu puriyartha? Puriyala. Now, what is our body? This is my body. Correct? What is Shariram? Bhagavad Ramanuja gives a beautiful description. That which listens to what command the Jivatma says. The Jivatma through the mind says, Dushyanth, lift your hand. It lifts like this. In Bharata Desham, this is not doing very well. So lift that hand, it says. Dushyantji, you be like this. Some photographers will say, you hold like this, give a pose. Then next step, I'll buy an island. So then I'll say, see, don't ask me for poses. When the news channels and all of them come, we need some candid poses. Candid na enna panniduva theriyuma? Kottavi vidumbodhu eduthuruva. So this body, Shariram, is the one that listens to what the Jivatma says through the Chittam. So for us, the Jivatma commands the body. Similarly, when the Jivatmas and the Achetanam is the body, the inner Atma is Paramatma. Now if I touch my hand, is this dosham? Inclusion, victimhood, oppressor? No. It's my own body I will touch. So in Rasa Krida, there was a question asked. Was it right for Krishna to touch Komalam Mami? Komalam Mami kochi pada matara. Na poi Krishna thotuptan Komalam Mami poi cholipta. Next night, Arnab Goswami will call me. Nation wants to know why you touched Komalam Mami. So, if I touch my own self, it won't cause harm. Remember this. Swadhina trividha chetana chetana swarupa sthiti pravritti bhedam klesha karmadhyasesha doshasam sprishtam swabhavika navadhika tishaya jnana balaishwarya virya shakti. Should read Gadyam of Ramanuja. He says, Chetana and Achetana is the body of the Lord. The Atma inside is Paramatma. So when Paramatma Krishna touches his hand is a Jivatma, who is Komalam Mami. So if he touches Komalam Mami, it is equivalent to he touching himself. But we cannot extrapolate the rule to us. When Krishna touches Komalam Mami, you said it is like this, na? Krishna lifts the mountain. Ilya, when Chembarambakam lake was opened, Velacheri, Madipakam, they were all floating. Did any mama lift that Meenambakam hill? No. So he has no right to bring this example. Now, Bhagavatam doesn't talk about this, but the later part of literature does mention of a patram called Radha. Radha is very popular today. But in Bhagavatam, there is no mention of Radha. Now, the moment I say this, some great Buddhijeevi will come. He will put one control F to the entire Bhagavatam document and say, Idhar dekhiye Radha ji hai. Ade. That Radha is an adjective. Radha means love. So a person bereft of love is called Viradha in Ramayana. So Radha can be used as both an adjective and a noun. In English, you can use certain words as common noun and proper noun. Where did he go into? He went into the woods. What is the person who owns this place? Mr. Wood. Yeah, our pair in a wood. What is Kalla Vitterino? Our pair in a Mr. Stone. There will be place. So common noun and proper noun do exist. So here, Radha as a character is not mentioned in Bhagavatam. But of course, there is one very rare occasion where it is said Krishna had extreme love for a lady, but that lady is not mentioned, Marmam. விரிவான செய்திகளுக்கு பார்க்கவும் 9 மணி செய்திகளே. யார் அந்த ராதா? ஸோ வி டோன்ட் நோ. ராதா ராதா நீ எங்கேன்னு பாடிண்டே இருக்க வேண்டியதுதான். பட் லேட்டர் காம்போசிஷன்ஸ் கேம். விருந்தாவனமும் நந்தகுமாரனும் யாவருக்கும் பொது செல்வமன்றோ. பாடுங்க. ஏனோ ராதா இந்த பொறாமை யார்தான் அழகால் மயங்காதவரோ. புல்லாங்குழலிசை இனிமையினாலே உள்ளமே ஜில்லென துள்ளாதா. ராகத்திலே அனுராகமேவினால் ஜகமே ஊஞ்சலில் ஆடாதா. So, this Radha is not mentioned in Bhagavatam, but Devi Bhagavatam mentions one line. Radhanoti sakalan kaman radheti prakirtita. The lady who had the ability to get the sins annihilated was called Radha. அப்படின்னு இருக்கு. Now, a beautiful work came across in the 10th, 11th century period in a village called Kenduli. Can you tell me the name of that work? A beautiful work from Kenduli. Ashtapadi. It was called Geeta Govindam. Jayadeva came with this work. So he starts with an assumption. Now he comes with a verse. Meghair meduram ambaram vinibhuvo. What he says is, when Krishna was born to Yashoda. Now you don't say he was born to Devaki. For now we don't know that CCTV camera footage. He was born to Yashoda. When Krishna's Namakaranam happened, the daughter of the opposite person's daughter called Radha, she was Vrishabhanu's daughter. She attended Krishna's Namakaranam. She was 6 years. Krishna was born then. Radha was 6 years. Sir, she's elder to Krishna by 6 years. Did you ask Anjali Tendulkar about this? I tell her. Who asked? Priyanka, did you ask Priyanka Jonas about this? Ask them. So now, Krishna was catered to like any other child. Unable to manage this boy, one day Yashoda said, Radha, take my son and entertain him. Do something, take him to the discourse. So she took Krishna holding him on his hip. She was roughly about 16, he was 10. She took him to the close by park. I don't know the park here, I know a few. Panagal Park, Nateshan Park. She took him, Lal Bagh, Kaban Park. It was around evening time, 5 p.m. So both of them sat on a table. She looked right, she wanted to check what she could buy for him. Popcorn, caramelized one, whatever. Girard Delhi, all that she wanted to buy. By the time she turned left, he had matured into a 16-year-old yuva. Now you may ask, sir, will the body develop so fast? Will the pituitary gland work? See, Krishnavataram is beyond our radar of logic. Only then you can understand Krishnavataram. Then if you get into pituitary gland, cerebrum, cerebellum, medulla oblongata, how this will work, then Krishnavataram can never be understood. So he turned into a yuva so that he can give an anubhavam to Radha. Now Radha said, I never knew Krishna. When you turn 16, you will be this handsome. Krishna, I want to have the anubhavam of you meeting me. A lot more can happen over a cup of coffee. So it was a chai latte with extra cinnamon powder and vanilla essence at the top. Ari onu kudupa parungo. ஆயிரத்தெட்டு கேள்வி. The only thing that I have in these airports, I go to 42 airports in the US. This time I've got 45 lectures, 10 cities, every day, 4 red-eye flights. Tomorrow evening I'm taking a red-eye flight, no photos tomorrow. So, when I go to the airport, Starbucks போட்டுக்கும் பெருசா நக்ஷத்திர விடுதி. So I go there. Tea. What tea? Then I have to give the next description. In that, what do you want? எல்லாம் 10 கேள்வி ரொம்ப பிரமாதமாக பண்ணி கொடுப்போம். ஆரி ஒன்று வரும். இதுக்கு இவ்வளவு கேள்வி. So, she said, I will wait for you by the banks of river Yamuna, Krishna. Then she went. Then she has a Sakhi. So she asks her Sakhi, Is it the right time to meet Krishna? She tells, yes, yes. Can't you smell the intoxicating clove and chandanam, sandal in the air? Lalitala vangalata parishilana komala malaya samire radhe lalitala vanga. Is it? Did you see him, Sakhi? Yes, yes, I saw him. But I don't think he seems interested to come to the place where you are. What is he doing? What is he up to? The Sakhi says, see, some of our friends had got some new sandal logs and they wanted to check if the chandanam paste is of good texture and color. They didn't find a grinding stone. They called Krishna and said, you bend. And they started checking how is the tenor of this particular stick. He is engaged with them, he won't come here. Chandana chachita nila kalebara pita vasana vanamali. Then she gets upset. Without Krishna, see, even the rays of the sun are scorching. The smell of the chandanam is obnoxious. Nindati chandana mindu kirana manu vindati khedam adhiram vyala nilaya milane nagaralamiva kalayati malaya samiram savirahe tavadina Krishna savirahe tavadina. Then Krishna comes. Sorry, I was a bit busy. Lot of meetings, one back to back. Radha, please forgive me. She says, I can't. Vadasi yadi kinchidapi danta ruchi kaumudi haratu tarati miram ati ghoram priye charushile priye. Put your leg on my head. If your anger shall disappear only by punishing me, put your feet on my head. Mama shirasi mandanam. Vedanta Deshika uses this in Hamsa Sandesham. Nevertheless, then after this, Kisalaya Shayanatale Kuru Kamini. Then they get together. Then he becomes the 10-year-old boy. So the 16-year-old boy happened between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. By then, Nandagopa had lodged an FIR with the police. Then Radha comes taking this little Krishna home. They had a lot of metro project is happening. They had put lot of detour. Somehow, Waze did not find the right way for us. Waze did not find the right map for us. Somehow we went and we came. So this composition that was born between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. is called Ashtapadi or Gita Govindam. This is not a part of Bhagavatam. This is out of syllabus. But we will get those grace marks. Now, after all of this, Kamsa realized when all of my antisocial friends are dead at the hands of Krishna, this should be the one mentioned in the ethereal voice who has the ability to vanquish me. So he sends Akrura, his trusted minister. Akrura comes. As Akrura comes, the people welcome him because he is carrying the emblem of Kamsa's dynasty. They welcome him with all sweets. Then Akrura now tells that evening to Nandagopa, this is not your son. Nandagopa gets the shock of his life. Then he tells this was born to Vasudeva and Devaki. For safety, the child was brought here. Your girl child is gone. This is not yours. Now we have found the true parents of this child. Give him back to Devaki and Vasudeva. Nandagopa goes and conveys this to Yashoda. That night, for her, every second was a torture. She couldn't take that very truth that this is not her son. That is when she said, who called him Akrura? He's Krura. Akruraha sakrura hridayaha. Next morning, the most touching part of Bhagavatam, when she runs behind the chariot, she tells, who will give my dear son that oil bath every Friday? Who will give my son? Every morning he will ask for clarified butter and butter. Navanitam and Hayyangavenam. Who shall cater to the needs of my son? He goes away from me. As she runs behind the chariot, Akrura feels that he has committed the gravest sin a person can ever commit. Krishna will never come back to Vrindavanam. Those Gopikastris couldn't take this message at all. Karunarasam reaches its peak of Natya Shastram in this particular episode. There can be no position, no area which is more tormenting to the Gopikastris when they see Krishna's separation. As he crosses the Yamuna rivers on the other side, Mathura people are happy. They said, we have heard so much about you, Krishna. We knew from the start, something said, Pakshi chollidu, Pakshi, that you belong to Mathura. Nee mookka vechikirada paarthale therinjithu. Mathura makkalda ipdi mookka vechupa. They welcomed him. You know, when the hero comes into a city, we have seen in movies, there'll be one lorry, it will come in the middle, two men will come and fight. Similarly, Kamsa had arranged one maddened elephant that was going on a rampage called Kuvalaya Peetam. Two WWF champions. Mushtika, Chanura. Krishna vanquishes all of them. Mushtika, Shura, Chanura, Malla Visharada, Kuvalaya, Pita, Nardana, Kalinga, Mardana, Gokula, Rakshana, Sakala, Surakshana, Deva, Sishta, Janabala, Sankalpa, Kalpa, Kalpa, Shatakoti, Asama, Parabhava, Dhira, Munijana, Vihara, Madana, Sukumara, Daitya, Samhara, Deva, Madhura, Madhura, Rati, Sarasa, Sahasa, Vraja, Yuvati, Janamanasa, Pujita, Swagatam, Krishna. They welcome him. So every person was put to the reception committee. They were all welcoming. Lotus flowers, this, that, some palm sugar. Everything, people came out. Now, I spoke about this poet called Narayana Bhattatri. I've been speaking about him. You remember? He suffered from rheumatoid arthritis. He was a great poet. Bhukhande, Kerala ke, Sarita Nihanilam, Uttare Naivanava, Kshetrada Vyutamatni, Punarupari Nava Gramanamni Swadhamni, Dharmishtad, Bhattatantrat, Akilamata Patot, Matradatta Dvijendrat. Very learned person, did only good things, but he suffered from rheumatoid arthritis. He had a question like any of us, why me? When other people in Seattle are enjoying in their houses, why should we suffer here? So he had this question, why me? He never got an answer to this. We won't get an answer to that. Remember that. Why me? You ask, you won't get that answer. Why me? But he gets an answer to it. He says, if I am existing now, the Jivatma is existing in this Shariram of Narayana Bhattadri now, with a simple karma theory in vogue, I should have had many janmas. It is not suddenly Paramatma will create one Jivatma. Jivatma cannot be created. So it has to exist, it has to eternally exist. I must have taken many, many births, and this is one of the births. If I am suffering now, I have this question, why me? Because in one of my previous births, now I'm in Kerala, in one of my previous births in Dwapara Yugam, I must have been in Mathura. I must have lived in Mathura, and on that auspicious day when Krishna returned back to pavilion, he was born in Mathura, he returns back to the pavilion. On that auspicious day when everyone welcomed Krishna, I must have alone stayed inside my house not welcoming him. Because I didn't welcome him that day, I am suffering from rheumatoid arthritis today. Tavan Nischita, the connection is, if there is an act today, there is an act by us in the past. May not be in this janma, in our previous janmas. Tavan Nischita Vaibhavas Tava Vibho Natyanta Papa Janaha Yatkinchit Udakesma Shaktyanugunam Tambula Malyadikam Grinhanna Kusumadi Kinchana Tada Marge Nibaddhanjalihi Atishtam Bataha Yatodya Vipulam Artim Brajami Prabho. Then Krishna goes and on this way he spots one lady. This lady had one only job to grind the sandal paste, put it into a beautiful cup and present it to the king. Nobody could partake this Sandal paste. That day she was called Trivakra or Anekavakra. She was deformed in many places. She couldn't even look up. She was that hunchback, Kubjam. When nobody would even ask her because she would say no. That day Krishna and Balarama went and they said, can you give me some sandal paste? This lady gave. People were surprised how? Because she had learnt in Shastras that whose feet looks like the lotus, he is Parabrahmam, give it to him. He took, applied on himself and applied on her. As he applied, like that Varma, he hit in certain places, she became a beautiful lady. Now everybody stood in a line. Krishna Engelkomandi Swami, apply sandal on us. Kubjam Abjavilochanam. Now there is a Shastric question here. Dharma Sutram says that only a married man, a grihastha, can apply chandana. The unmarried can't use chandana. There is a rule. The unmarried cannot consume betel leaves. The unmarried, lot of things. So these were all facilities given to the married person. You marry, you will get all of this. So, how did Krishna apply sandal paste? He was just 10 years, right? Because there was a marriage by then in Gokulam. His mother Yashoda's brother's daughter called Neela, she was given in marriage. This is found in Harivamsham. That Neela, that name got concocted and turned into another during the Sangam text. She was called Pinnai. This Pinnai was a very good Pinnai. Nal Pinnai became Nappinnai. This Nappinnai was married to Krishna. Chandranana Bhaishmi Bhama Jambavati Satyamitra Vinda Lakshmana Sa Kalindi Nayakam Nanda Nandana Mashrita Vrinda Vrindara Kavandyam Nandita Narayana Tirtha Nandadam Ananda Kandam Alokaye Rukmini Kalyana Gopalam. So she is one of the wives, Ashtamahishi. So he had the one to allow sandal paste to be put. Now Krishna comes, he kills Kamsa. I won't describe this killing and all, that is all bloodshed. All our Final Destination movies will take care of it. Now, he killed Kamsa and released his parents from the jail. Now the mother asked, what have you studied? What is study? Please, can you write your name Krishna? I have never held a pen. I have held only a stick to let the cows graze. Devaki said, Yenna, idu padikkalenna. So immediately they wanted to check which is the closest school, magnet school, so that we can put. So the school said, show the TC from the previous school. TC, I ponadele school. So the closest he could get from his Google search was a rishi called Sandipani who was taking one crash course. There was no eligibility. Anybody can join. So they said, please pay online, and somehow you put Krishna and Balram to Sandipani. In the city, it's very close to, it is in Ujjaini. Ujjaini is very close to Indore. You know Indore? So Krishna went and he learned for 64 days he stayed. And what did he learn? He learned 64 arts. See, you do all those AP courses to get some extra credit so that you go to a university and do well, right? He had finished all courses. So the university said, why is he coming here? He was that adept. Now, Bhattatri answers is Gatva Sandipanim Atha Chasushashti Ratri Mahobihi Sarvajnastvam Sahamusalina, because he was Sarvajna. See, he knows everything. But why did he go to the school? Only if he goes to the school, at least for 60 days, tomorrow our child will say, okay, Krishna has gone, so I have to go to school. I have a school, Krishna Ponara. Then Krishna will set the wrong example. So he has to go to a school, finish and come. But Sarvajnastvam, he knew everything. How do we understand this? I'll give you one incident, very interesting incident, that just happened 100 years back. One of the Acharya Varyas in the last 100 years who is said to have walked the planet, great Acharya, was the Peethadipati of Kanchi Kamakoti, called as Chandrasekharendra Saraswati or Paramacharya. He is referred to often by the devotees as Mahapariva. Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Swami came to the Peetham at a very young age, Bala Sannyasi. Because two Peethadipatis before him succumbed to death very soon. So he had to come. He was studying in a convent at the age, I don't exactly remember, 8 or 9, he came to the Peetham. After that, he had to undergo formal education. It is not as if a great scholar is coming to the Peetham. He had to undergo formal education after coming to the Peetham. Little boy, 9 years, 10 years. So for good continuous education with no disturbance, the Sishyas of the Matha took Swami to a place called Mahendra Mangalam. It is near the banks of river Kaveri, near Mushiri. If you have heard Mushiri, there was a great musician there. So that part, the Kaveri meanders to a large width. So people, they didn't have bridges, so they couldn't cross using boats. So this was a safe place for him to learn with no disturbance. While he was learning Veda and Veda Bhashyam, one aged person used to teach him Veda Bhashyam. But this teaching person was perturbed by Paramacharya's activities because he was a little boy. He used to take one stick and used to be playing on the sands of Kaveri. The teacher couldn't reprimand the student because he was a Peethadipati. Nor could he just keep quiet because it is attention deficit. So what this elderly Acharya did was, he prostrated and fell at the feet of Paramacharya. Paramacharya asked, "Why did you fall at my feet?" To which he said, "See, I can't teach you anymore. You are very playful. I can't shout at you because you are a Peethadipati. But my being a teacher, I cannot have a student who is so reckless and attentionless in the class. I will leave." Paramacharya asked, "What more portions is left for you to teach?" Then he said, "In Taitriyam, these are the 4 bhagas that I have to teach. Then my classes will get over." Then Paramacharya said, "Wait, I will now tell you what is the essence of those 4 chapters." And he said, to which the Acharya again fell at his feet. He said, "There is no need for me to teach you anymore. Sarvajnastvam sahamusalina." Some people, rare people, are born with that knowledge. For them, it is only revision. Surely I am not one, because every time I tell, now, when we talk about Hiranyakashipu and Prahlada, we will always assume we are all Prahladas. That's the first wrong thing. We are all close to Hiranyakashipus. Kadavul paadi, mrugam paadi, kalandu seida kalavai naan, ulle mrugam, veliye kadavul. Tells our Alvar pet Alvar. So, Sarvajnastvam sahamusalina, this omniscience and omnipresence are the attributes of certain select people. Krishna was one. For him, the formal training under Sandipani was nothing but a hogwash. It was just meant for that. He knew everything. So he was trained in the Shastras. More to Krishna's life in Mathura, why he shifted his capital to Dwaraka. Then Rukmini Parinayam, Satyabhama Parinayam, Jambavati Parinayam, his son's marriage, his grandson's marriage. See, the greatness about Krishna is, he also got married when his grandson got married. Yeah. So, maybe a part of that is also inherited in other countries. Yeah. So, here, I still remember my grandmother saying, in those days, the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law would be carrying together. So it may end up that my own attai will be younger to me. So we will at least come across 5 to 6 marriages tomorrow, along with Kuchelopakhyanam, Santana Gopala Charitram, and so on. Tomorrow is the last day. Shanaishchara comes for 7.5 years. But I come only for 7 days. So the 7th day, the last day, is tomorrow. So we shall begin at 6:30. We shall go on till 8:30, 8:35. After that, I have a flight to catch. I'm not so great where the flight will wait for me. I have to fly. So with abundant gratitude, kritagnyata to all the astikas present here for making it on weekdays. Oh, you've made the impossible happen. Right? We say about Hanuman, asadhya sadhakam. He'll make the impossible happen. So organizers were very wary about weekday programs. Weekends, okay. Weekdays, but you've proven that the impossible can happen with your presence. So much thanks from the bottomest of my heart, however bottom I could get, to thank you all for your gracious presence all these 6 days. One more day to go. Please bring your friends. Of course, except those intermittent portions where I may slip and slide into Tamil, which is my mother tongue. I think most of the other portions are comprehensible. So, ಕನ್ನಡದವರು ಇದ್ದಾರಂದರೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬನ್ನಿ ಆಸ್ತಿಕರನ್ನ. తెలుగువారు ఉన్నారంటే ఇక్కడ రమ్య ಅಂತ చెప్పాలి. Please ask them to come. Thanks once again. Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashalini Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Gobramani Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kayena Vacha Manasendriyerva Buddhyatmana Va Prakriti Swabhavat Karomi Yatyat Sakalam Parasmai Sriman Narayana Yeti Samarpayami Kalyana Rupaya Kalau Jananam Kalyana Dhatre Karuna Sudhapte Kamvadi Divyayudha Satkaraya Vatalayadhisha Namo Namaste Narayana 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 Narayana